I bought a galactic cruiser no one attended the auction for. The interior hid a shocking secret. While other kids dreamed of sports or music, Jake dreamed of flying through the galaxy, exploring places no human had ever seen. But until now, he had only flown small ships for short runs between colonies. He had no real ship of his own, no way to explore the stars on a grand scale. One evening, while scanning through old galactic auctions on his portable terminal, Jake saw something unusual. The listing was for a massive galactic cruiser, a type of ship that most people only read about in history books. It was called the Aurora's Shadow, a ship so advanced that it could travel long distances without refueling, and it was being auctioned. What caught Jake's attention was that no one else had bid. Most auctions for ships like this were crowded with wealthy buyers, military factions, or companies looking for an edge. Yet here was this huge cruiser apparently abandoned with a starting price so low it seemed like a joke. Jake hesitated. "Why is no one interested?" he asked himself. It must have some problem. But curiosity won over caution. He had some savings, enough to make a small bid, and the thought of owning a real galactic cruiser thrilled him. Without much thought, he placed a bid. His heart pounded as he confirmed it. To his surprise, no one else bid higher. By the next day, the auction was over, and the ship was officially his. When Jake arrived at the dock to see the cruiser in person, he was not prepared for its size. The Aurora's shadow towered over the surrounding ships, its hull dark and sleek, reflecting the dim lights of the station. There were no crowds, no welcoming team, just the ship sitting silently, waiting. Jake stepped onto the gangway and felt a strange shiver run down his spine. The door opened with a soft hiss and he entered the cruiser. Immediately he noticed something odd. The interior was spotless, every surface gleamed, there was no dust, no sign of previous use. It looked almost alive. The lights adjusted automatically as he walked, soft white beams guiding him down wide corridors. "This place, it's too quiet," he muttered, but he could not help smiling. The emptiness gave him a strange sense of freedom. He could explore every deck, every cabin, without anyone telling him what to do. Jake started with the main deck where the bridge was located. The captain's chair was large and comfortable, with multiple screens surrounding it. He ran his hands over the controls. Most of the buttons were labeled in a language he did not recognize, but there were some universal symbols for navigation and communication. The ship seemed to respond to his touch, almost as if it expected him. He spent hours wandering through the ship, opening rooms and inspecting each section. There were crew quarters, empty and well-maintained, with soft beds and personal lockers. There was a cafeteria with neatly stacked trays and plates, and a medical bay that looked like it had been prepared for immediate use. Everywhere he went, the ship seemed to anticipate his movements, lights turning on as he entered a room and turning off as he left. Jake began to feel a mix of excitement and unease. Why would a ship this big and advanced be abandoned? He asked aloud. There was no answer, only the quiet hum of the ship's systems. On the lower decks, he found the engine room. Huge machines hummed with power, glowing softly in blue and green lights. The engines were silent now, but they looked functional, ready to take him anywhere in the galaxy. As he examined the controls, he noticed a small panel that seemed slightly out of place. Unlike the rest of the room, which was neatly arranged, this panel looked older and hidden, almost secret. Jake's curiosity pushed him forward. He pressed a few buttons, and the panel slid open, revealing a narrow corridor. The air inside smelled faintly metallic, and a soft vibration ran along the floor. He hesitated. This was clearly not part of the normal layout of the ship. "Should I go in?" he asked himself. His pulse quickened. Adventure had always been his dream, and now he had a real opportunity to explore something completely unknown. He stepped into the corridor. The walls were lined with strange symbols that glowed faintly in response to his presence. The corridor was narrow, forcing him to walk in single file. It twisted and turned, leading him deeper into the ship. The lights here were dimmer, and the quietness felt heavier, almost as if the ship itself was holding its breath. At the end of the corridor, he found a heavy door. It had no handle, only a small touch panel with blinking lights. Jake reached out, unsure of what he might find. The door slid open silently at his touch, revealing a chamber unlike anything he had ever seen. The room was circular, with a high ceiling that glowed softly. In the center, there was a large pod covered in a transparent material that allowed him to see inside. The pod was empty, but wires and tubes ran from it to the walls, connecting to strange machines with lights and controls. Holographic screens hovered above the pod, displaying shapes and symbols Jake could not understand. He walked closer, running his hands over the surfaces. The pod seemed to pulse faintly, as if it had been sleeping for a long time and was now waiting for something or someone. Jake could feel a strange energy in the room, not dangerous but powerful. "Who or what was using this?" he whispered. The thought that he might have stumbled onto something alien made his stomach tighten. He realized that the cruiser was not just a ship. It was a vessel designed for something extraordinary. Jake spent the rest of the evening exploring other rooms on this hidden level. He found storage areas filled with strange devices, some of which seemed to defy his understanding of technology. Some looked like weapons, others like tools, but none of them had labels he could read. It was clear that whoever had built this ship had capabilities far beyond human knowledge. By the time Jake returned to the bridge, he was both exhausted and exhilarated. He had never felt such a mixture of fear and excitement. The ship had secrets, and he was the first human to uncover them in decades, maybe centuries. He leaned back in the captain's chair, staring out at the stars through the wide front window. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. The thought made him smile. The galaxy was vast, and now he had a ship that could take him anywhere. But somewhere deep inside, he felt the weight of responsibility. The secrets of this ship were enormous. If anyone else found out what he had discovered, they might try to take it from him, or worse. Jake did not yet know what those secrets were, but one thing was certain. His life had changed forever the moment he stepped onto the Aurora's shadow. And as he sat in the quiet of the bridge, staring at the distant stars, he could feel the ship watching him back, waiting to reveal more of its mysteries. The night passed slowly, with Jake exploring the ship in small increments, taking notes and photographs, trying to understand everything he saw. The more he explored, the more questions he had. How had such a magnificent ship been abandoned? Who had built it? And what was the purpose of the strange chamber he had discovered? By dawn, Jake realized he had only scratched the surface. The ship was bigger and stranger than he could have imagined. And the feeling of excitement that had driven him to bid on it now mingled with a growing sense of wonder and fear. This was no ordinary cruiser, and he was no ordinary pilot anymore. As he prepared to rest in one of the pristine crew quarters, he could not shake the feeling that the ship had more in store for him, secrets that were waiting to awaken. And somewhere deep inside, Jake knew that once those secrets began to reveal themselves, there would be no turning back. Jake woke up early, the soft hum of the cruiser filling the quiet room. He had slept on one of the beds in the crew quarters, but even in sleep, his mind had wandered to the strange chamber he had discovered the night before. Something about that hidden room made him feel both nervous and excited. He had to know more. After a quick breakfast in the empty cafeteria, Jake made his way back to the lower decks. The corridors were calm and silent, the ship almost guiding him. He reached the hidden panel he had found yesterday. The narrow corridor behind it seemed even more mysterious in the daylight of the ship's artificial lights. He stepped into it, feeling the metal floor beneath his boots. The walls glowed faintly with the strange symbols, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Jake had no idea what the symbols meant, but their rhythm made him feel as if the ship itself was alive. He shivered but pressed forward. The corridor twisted and turned, leading him deeper than he had gone the night before. Finally, he reached the circular chamber with the pod. It looked different in the bright light of the ship's systems. The pod's surface shimmered slightly, almost like it was waiting for him to touch it again. Jake approached slowly, examining the machines connected to the pod. There were screens hovering in the air, showing images that seemed to shift when he looked at them. He reached out to touch one. The screen responded instantly, showing complex diagrams of stars, planets, and strange objects he had never seen before. He stepped back, amazed. "This technology, it's nothing like what humans have," he whispered. Every device seemed alive, as if it knew he was there. The realization made him both thrilled and nervous. He had always dreamed of discovering alien technology, but now he was standing in the middle of it. Jake moved to the edges of the room, searching for more clues. He found drawers built into the walls, filled with small devices. Some looked like tools, others like weapons, but all were made with a level of precision far beyond human engineering. One small device looked like a handheld scanner. He picked it up and it lit up in his hand, scanning the room and projecting a holographic map of the cruiser. "Wow," he said. The hologram showed hidden compartments, secret corridors, and areas he had not even explored. He realized the ship was much larger than he had imagined. The hidden areas seemed almost endless, like a city inside a ship. Curiosity pushed him further. He noticed one part of the holographic map that showed a room labeled with symbols he did not understand. It was deeper in the ship, past areas he had never seen. Jake felt a mixture of excitement and fear. Whatever was in that room must be important, or the ship would not have hidden it so carefully. He followed the map, walking through hidden doors and narrow corridors. The air felt cooler here, and the hum of the ship was stronger, vibrating through his feet. Finally, he reached another sealed door. The symbols on this one were brighter, glowing in a way that made Jake's heart race. He touched the panel, and the door slid open silently. Inside, the room was filled with machines unlike anything he had seen. Large devices hummed with energy, and lights moved across the walls in patterns that seemed alive. In the center of the room, there was another pod, this one larger than the one in the first chamber. Jake stepped closer, his eyes wide. The pod was empty, but the machines around it seemed to respond to his presence. A soft voice spoke inside his mind. At first, he thought it was the ship's AI, but the voice was gentle, almost human. "Who is there?" Jake asked aloud, his voice echoing slightly in the room. The voice replied inside his mind again, calm and curious. "I am Lyra, you are awake." Jake froze. "Lyra," he whispered. What are you?" "I am someone who was meant to rest," the voice said. "I have waited a long time. You are the first to find me." Jake took a step back. He had expected alien technology, maybe holograms, but not a voice, and certainly not one that seemed alive, as if it were speaking directly into his mind. "Wait, are you inside the pod?" he asked. "Yes," the voice said. "I was put here for safety, and now you have woken me." Jake studied the pod carefully. The surface shimmered as if it were liquid, and inside he could see the faint outline of a figure. It was humanoid but different. The skin had a soft glow, and the eyes, even closed, seemed unusual. The figure's body floated slightly in the pod, surrounded by energy fields and wires. Jake's mind raced. He had stumbled onto something far more significant than he had imagined. This was not just a ship. This was a containment vessel, and whatever was inside the pod was not human. How do I wake you?" he asked. "You have already done it," Lyra said gently. "I am aware now. I need your help to understand this place." Jake's hands shook slightly. My help." "Yes," the voice said. "Humans are different. You think in ways others do not. That is why I am speaking to you." Jake nodded slowly, trying to calm his racing thoughts. "Okay, I'll help, but I need to understand. What is this place?" Lyra's voice was calm but serious. "This ship was built to contain and protect. It holds technology and beings that are very powerful, too powerful for most species. That is why it was hidden, left abandoned. Whoever owned it last left in fear." Jake swallowed hard. He realized the weight of what he had discovered. This was no ordinary ship. He could not just take it for joyrides across the galaxy. The responsibility was enormous. I need to see more," he said finally. "I need to understand what is going on here." Lyra agreed. "I can help you, but you must be careful. There are forces in the galaxy who would take this ship for themselves. They would not care what is inside." Jake felt a chill. He had thought about adventure, but he had not thought about danger. Now he understood that owning the ship meant more than freedom. It meant responsibility for something very dangerous. For the next hours, Jake explored the room with Lyra guiding him. The machines were complex, but the voice in his mind explained them slowly. Some devices stored energy beyond anything humans could create. Others were defensive systems, capable of destroying entire fleets if misused. Some devices were communication tools, able to send messages across light years instantly. Jake realized that the ship was not just a vehicle. It was a fortress, a laboratory, and a home for beings like Lyra. He felt both awe and fear. He had never imagined humans could encounter technology like this so directly. By evening, Jake had a plan. He would continue to study the ship, learn its systems, and understand Lyra. But he also knew he could not keep this secret forever. Someone else would notice the cruiser eventually, and if they did, he had to be ready. Sitting in the control room of the hidden chamber, Jake felt a strange bond forming. The ship had chosen him in a way, or perhaps fate had. He was the first human to step into its deepest secrets, and now he carried the responsibility of understanding and protecting them. Lyra spoke softly in his mind as he rested for the first time in the room. "Do not fear, Jake. Together we will learn. Together we will discover the true power of this ship. But you must promise you will be careful." Jake nodded, even though she could not see him. "I promise," he said. "I won't let anything happen to you or this ship." As he drifted into a light sleep, Jake thought about the galaxy outside. He had dreamed of adventure all his life, but now he realized that adventure was far bigger than he had imagined. He was not just a pilot anymore. He was the guardian of something extraordinary, something humans had never seen. And he was ready, even if he did not yet understand the full danger and wonder that lay ahead. Jake woke up feeling a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. Last night he had spoken with Lyra in his mind, but today felt different. He needed to understand her, the ship, and what he had truly discovered. He dressed quickly and headed back to the hidden chamber. The corridor leading to the pod seemed less intimidating now. The walls glowed faintly, welcoming him. It was as if the ship itself was aware that Jake had accepted its secrets. Every step made him feel more connected to the cruiser. He remembered Lyra's words, "Humans think differently." Perhaps that was why the ship had chosen him. When he entered the chamber, the pod pulsed gently, the energy around it soft but alive. Jake hesitated, unsure how to proceed. Lyra's voice came again in his mind, calm and patient. "Jake, you do not need to be afraid. I am aware of you. I will awaken fully now." Jake took a deep breath and reached out. His hand touched the pod's surface, and instantly the shimmer grew brighter. The pod's energy flowed into him, and he felt a strange warmth spread through his body. It was not painful but powerful, as if something inside the ship recognized him and trusted him. The pod began to open. Slowly, the figure inside lifted, stretching as if waking from a long sleep. Lyra stepped out, her form humanoid but unlike any human. Her skin glowed softly, and her eyes reflected the room's lights like mirrors. She was graceful, her movements fluid and natural, yet there was a strength in her presence that made Jake's heart race. "You are awake," Jake said quietly, unsure what else to say. Lyra tilted her head and smiled faintly. "I am awake, yes, and I am aware. You are different from those who came before. I can sense your intentions, your curiosity, and your courage." Jake felt a mix of pride and embarrassment. I didn't mean to wake you fully. I was just curious." "You were meant to find me," she said. "The ship brought you here. You were the one who could understand, even if you did not know it yet." Jake glanced around. "The ship, it's more than just a vessel, isn't it?" Lyra nodded. "It is alive in a way. It was built to protect, to contain, and to guide. Its creators knew that power could be dangerous. That is why it waits, hidden, until someone worthy comes." Jake felt a shiver run down his spine. "Power, how powerful?" Lyra's eyes softened. "Enough to change a star system. Enough to protect or destroy. That is why I was kept here, and now we must learn together." For hours, Jake followed Lyra through the ship. She explained the basic functions, teaching him how to read the alien systems. Some devices stored energy far beyond human technology. Others controlled shields, propulsion, and even weapons, though she warned Jake never to use them without understanding. Jake was amazed. "This is incredible. Humans have never seen anything like this." "You are right," Lyra said, "but humans have something many species lack. Creativity, courage, and determination. That is why I am speaking to you, Jake. The ship chose you not because you are strong, but because you think in ways others cannot." Jake smiled faintly. "Well, I have always wanted an adventure." Lyra chuckled in his mind. "This is no ordinary adventure. You must be careful. Others will come. They will see the ship as a prize, not a responsibility." Jake's smile faded. He had known the galaxy was dangerous, but hearing her words made it real. He would have to protect the cruiser, Lyra, and the secrets they contained. It was a heavy responsibility, but he felt ready. Lyra guided him to the bridge next. The controls here were advanced, but intuitive. Jake touched the main console, and holographic displays lit up, showing nearby star systems, energy readings, and ship status. He could feel the ship responding to him as if it trusted him to pilot it. "This ship can go anywhere," Lyra explained. "It can travel faster than any human vessel, enter places no one else can, but it is not just a ship. It is a protector, and now it has chosen you as its guardian." Jake felt a thrill run through him. "A protector? I never imagined I would be part of something like this." Lyra nodded. And yet you must learn quickly. There will be tests. The galaxy is not empty. Others will notice the ship and not all will be friendly. Jake understood the warning. He had already felt the emptiness of the auction, the way no one had cared about this ship until now. He realized that the very fact he had found it first was a rare chance, but it also meant danger. They spent the next few days exploring the ship in detail. Jake learned how to activate shields, run diagnostics, and access the hidden compartments. Lyra explained the ship's communication systems, which could send messages across light years instantly. She showed him how to use the propulsion systems, allowing faster travel than any human ship he had ever flown. Despite all the knowledge, there was still so much Jake did not understand. The alien technology was complex, and the ship seemed to have layers of systems beyond human comprehension. Lyra explained that the ship's creators had designed it to teach and protect simultaneously, revealing its secrets gradually to those it trusted. One evening, as they rested in the hidden chamber, Jake asked a question that had been on his mind since he awoke Lyra. "Lyra, who built this ship, and why leave it abandoned?" Lyra's expression grew serious. The creators were a species far older than humans, wiser and more cautious. They understood the dangers of power. They built this ship to contain it, to protect the galaxy from those who would misuse it. But as time passed, the galaxy changed. Their species moved on. The ship remained, hidden, waiting for someone who could understand it and use it wisely. Jake nodded slowly. The weight of her words sank in. He was not just exploring a ship, he was stepping into a responsibility older than humanity itself. The next morning, Jake tested some of the ship's systems. He started with basic propulsion, moving the cruiser slowly around the station dock. The ship responded instantly, almost intuitively, as if it had always known he would pilot it. He felt a thrill he had never experienced before. Flying had always been his dream, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. Lyra guided him telepathically, showing him which controls to touch, how to stabilize energy outputs, and how to monitor the ship's health. They spent hours navigating the cruiser around the station, making adjustments, learning together. By evening, Jake was more confident. He realized that the ship was not only advanced but forgiving. It allowed mistakes, taught lessons, and adapted to its pilot. One day, while exploring another hidden compartment, Jake discovered a storage area filled with strange artifacts. Some looked like weapons, others like tools, but all were alien. Lyra explained each device slowly, showing him their functions. Some could heal injuries, others could generate energy shields, and a few were capable of extraordinary feats like creating force fields or temporary cloaking. Jake felt a mixture of awe and fear. "This technology, humans are not ready for this." Lyra nodded. "Perhaps not yet. But you are ready. You have the courage and the mind to understand it. That is why you were chosen." As days passed, Jake and Lyra continued their lessons. They explored the ship, unlocked hidden systems, and began to understand the true potential of the cruiser. Jake realized that humans could become more than explorers. They could be protectors, defenders of the galaxy. One evening, as they rested on the bridge, Lyra spoke in a serious tone. "Jake, there will be others. Some will come seeking the ship, not understanding its purpose. You must be ready. The galaxy is vast, but it is not empty. Be cautious, but do not fear. You have the strength and the mind to face what is coming." Jake nodded. He felt a strange sense of calm. Fear was natural, but he knew he could handle it. He had Lyra and he had the ship. Together, they were more than any threat that might come. Days turned into weeks. Jake learned to trust Lyra, and she learned to trust him. They became a team, the ship teaching them both in ways they had never imagined. Jake discovered that humans were capable of ingenuity and courage far beyond what alien species expected. Lyra showed him systems, and he found solutions she had not anticipated. Together, they were learning, growing stronger, and preparing for a galaxy that would soon notice the Aurora's shadow. One day, Jake was running a simulation when the ship's sensors detected something unusual. A small fleet of ships was moving toward their sector. Lyra alerted him immediately. "They are coming," she said in his mind. "They seek the cruiser, you must prepare." Jake's heart raced, but he remained calm. "We can handle this. We have the ship and we have each other." Lyra nodded. "Good. Remember, Jake, the ship will respond to your mind. Trust yourself and trust it." As the unknown fleet approached, Jake felt a thrill of anticipation. This was the test he had been preparing for, the challenge that would prove his courage, skill, and determination. He took a deep breath and moved to the bridge controls. The ship hummed beneath his hands, alive and aware. Together, they were ready. For the first time, Jake felt the true weight of what he had discovered. He was not just a pilot anymore. He was the guardian of a ship that could change the galaxy. And now, he was about to face the first real threat. Jake stood on the bridge of the Aurora's shadow, his hands resting lightly on the controls. He could feel the ship vibrating gently under his touch, alive and aware. Outside, the scanners showed the incoming fleet. Small, fast ships armed and moving with purpose. Someone knew about the cruiser and they wanted it. Lyra's voice came softly into his mind. Jake, they are approaching fast. They do not understand the power of this ship. They think it is just another vessel to take. You must show them the difference. Jake nodded, swallowing his fear. He had learned much in the past weeks, but this would be the first real test. All right, Lyra, let's see what this ship can really do. He activated the ship's shields. A soft blue light spread across the hull, creating an energy barrier that shimmered in the artificial light. The sensors showed the attacking ships closing in. They were faster than expected, but their formations were predictable. Jake realized that they were experienced fighters, but they underestimated the Aurora's shadow. Lyra guided him. Use the outer energy arrays, focus on defense first. Let them come to you and observe their patterns. Jake followed her instructions. Energy surged through the ship systems, creating a protective field around them. The attacking fleet fired, and the Aurora's shadow absorbed the first waves of energy blasts with ease. Jake felt a thrill. This was unlike anything he had ever experienced. The ship responded to his every thought, every movement, as if it were an extension of his own body. He maneuvered the cruiser, moving through the dock's empty space. The enemy ships tried to surround him, but the Aurora's shadow was too fast, too precise. Jake could feel the ship guiding him, its systems anticipating the attacker's movements. He had never flown like this before, but it felt natural, almost as if he had been born to pilot this vessel. Jake, prepare the countermeasures, Lyra said. We need to show them that the ship is not theirs to take. Jake activated the offensive systems. Beams of concentrated energy shot from hidden arrays, striking the attacker's ships. Some ships were disabled instantly, their engines failing as they drifted helplessly. Others tried to retreat, but the Aurora's shadow moved with uncanny precision, cutting off escape routes. The enemy fleet began to scatter, surprised by the cruiser's capabilities. Jake felt a surge of pride. He had never imagined humans could control technology like this. The ship's advanced systems were incredible, but it was human intuition, creativity, and courage that made it truly powerful. Lyra spoke again, her voice calm but urgent. Jake, there is more. The fleet's leader will respond. We must be ready for anything. Jake nodded. He scanned the incoming signals and noticed a larger ship approaching, one that clearly commanded the smaller vessels. It was sleek and heavily armed, and its energy signatures were strong. Whoever was aboard this ship was experienced and dangerous. Lyra, what do we do? He asked. Trust yourself and trust me, she replied. The ship will follow your mind. We will defend ourselves and show them that humans are not easily defeated. Jake felt a surge of determination. This was his moment to prove what he could do, to show that humans were capable of more than others expected. He focused on the ship, guiding it as if it were part of him. The Aurora's shadow responded instantly, shifting energy to its shields and propulsion systems. The larger enemy ship fired, beams of energy slicing through space toward them. Jake activated the ship's defensive arrays, and the beams were absorbed and redirected harmlessly into space. The smaller attacking ships tried to flank him again, but Jake used the ship's advanced maneuvering systems to dodge and counterattack. Lyra's guidance was constant, showing him weak points in the enemy formation and instructing him on the most effective responses. Jake realized that the combination of human instinct and alien technology was a force few could match. As the battle continued, Jake noticed something unexpected. The attacking fleet was not just after the ship, they were after something inside it. He could feel the energy signatures they sought, and he understood why the Aurora's shadow had remained hidden for so long. The secrets it contained were too powerful, too dangerous for those who would misuse them. Jake made a decision. He would not let the fleet take the ship. He activated the cruiser's hidden systems, devices that Lyra had shown him, but that had never been used before. Energy fields appeared, creating barriers and traps that disrupted the enemy ships. Beams of concentrated energy disabled more vessels, and some ships were forced to retreat entirely. The larger enemy ship pressed forward, its weapons ready to strike. Jake felt his heart race. This was the real test, the first battle where failure could mean the loss of the ship and perhaps even their lives. "Jake, focus," Lyra said in his mind. "You have the knowledge, you have the courage, you can win this." Jake took a deep breath. He guided the ship toward the larger enemy vessel, using the Aurora's shadow systems to anticipate its movements. Energy beams shot from hidden arrays, striking the ship's shields. The enemy fired back, but Jake's ship moved with incredible speed, dodging and countering. The battle raged across the dock and surrounding space. Sparks of energy lit up the void as beams collided and shields flared. Jake's hands moved quickly, following Lyra's instructions while trusting his own instincts. He felt a thrill unlike anything before. This was not just flying, this was commanding a force beyond imagination. Finally, Jake saw an opening. The enemy ship's energy shield had weakened on one side. He focused all available power into a concentrated beam and fired. The beam struck perfectly, disabling the ship's main systems. The vessel drifted helplessly and its crew surrendered. Jake exhaled, his heart still racing. The smaller ships had scattered or been disabled, and the main threat was neutralized. The Aurora's shadow hummed around him, calm and steady, as if it were proud of its pilot. Lyra's voice spoke softly, almost warmly. "Well done, Jake. You have proven yourself. You are capable of guiding this ship, protecting it, and using it wisely. Humans are stronger than many species believe. You have shown courage, intelligence, and heart. That is what matters." Jake smiled, feeling a sense of pride he had never known. "We did it," he said. "I couldn't have done it without you." "You guided the ship," Lyra replied. "You made the choices. I assisted, but the victory is yours." As the dust settled, Jake realized something important. The battle had not just been about the ship or its secrets. It had been a test, a way to show him that humans were capable of more than others expected. He had faced a real threat and succeeded, not because of the ship alone, but because of his courage, creativity, and quick thinking. Over the next few days, Jake and Lyra repaired the ship and ensured all systems were fully operational. Jake reflected on the battle and what it meant. Humans, even young and inexperienced ones like him, could rise to challenges that others thought impossible. He had proven that human intuition, combined with the ship's advanced technology, was a force to be respected. Lyra continued to teach him, showing him more hidden systems and advanced functions. They explored deeper levels of the cruiser, unlocking more secrets and understanding its true potential. Jake realized that they were only at the beginning. The galaxy was vast and threats could come from anywhere, but he felt ready now, stronger and more confident than ever. One evening, as they rested on the bridge, Jake looked out at the stars. The battle had been a wake-up call. Humans were not alone in the galaxy, and the Aurora's shadow was more than a ship. It was a symbol of what humans could achieve when courage and intelligence were combined. Lyra spoke in his mind, softly but firmly. "Jake, remember this feeling. The galaxy is dangerous, but you are capable. You have proven it. You must continue to learn, continue to grow. Humans are underestimated, but you can change that perception. You are the guardian of this ship, and through you, humans can show their true strength." Jake nodded. He knew she was right. The battle had been difficult, but it had taught him a valuable lesson. Strength was not just about power or technology. It was about courage, intelligence, and heart, and humans had all three. As the days passed, Jake and Lyra continued to explore, train, and prepare. They simulated attacks, tested the ship's systems, and learned new ways to use its technology. Jake felt a bond with the ship and with Lyra that grew stronger each day. They were a team, and together they were ready for whatever the galaxy might throw at them. The events of the past week had changed Jake. He was no longer just a young pilot dreaming of adventure. He was a guardian, a protector of something extraordinary. He had faced danger, proven his courage, and learned that humans could rise to challenges beyond their imagination. And somewhere deep inside, Jake knew that the real challenges were only beginning. The galaxy was wide, and there were forces out there that would come seeking the Aurora's shadow. But he also knew that with Lyra, and with the strength and ingenuity of humanity, they could face whatever came. For the first time, Jake felt truly ready. The ship hummed beneath him, alive and aware, as if acknowledging his readiness. He looked out at the stars, knowing that the adventure was far from over. The battle had been won, but the galaxy awaited, full of unknown dangers and incredible possibilities. Jake smiled. Whatever came next, he would face it head-on. He was human, and he was ready to show the galaxy the true power of his kind. Jake sat on the bridge of the Aurora's shadow, the stars stretching endlessly outside the viewports. The past weeks had been a whirlwind, discovering the ship, awakening Lyra, and facing the attacking fleet. Yet despite all that, he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and the secrets of the cruiser were far from fully revealed. Lyra's presence in his mind was calm and steady. "Jake, you have learned much, but there is more to understand. The galaxy will test you again. We must be ready." Jake nodded. "I know, Lyra, I feel it too. Someone else will come, someone stronger, but we're ready." The sensors suddenly beeped, drawing Jake's attention. A new fleet was approaching, not a small raiding group like the last, but a coordinated armada. The ships were sleek and powerful, moving with precision and speed. They clearly knew about the Aurora's shadow and intended to take it. Lyra's voice was calm but firm. "This is the real test, Jake. They will not be deterred by small defenses. You must use every system, every resource, and your own mind. Humans are underestimated, but now is the time to show what you can do." Jake's hands moved over the controls with confidence. The ship responded instantly, adjusting shields, preparing weapons, and activating advanced propulsion systems. He could feel the Aurora's shadow aligning with his thoughts, as if it were a living being trusting him to lead. The fleet fired first, beams of energy slicing through space toward the cruiser. Jake guided the ship with precision, dodging the attacks while maintaining energy shields. He noticed the formations of the enemy ships, predicting their movements and countering before they acted. The Aurora's shadow was more than just a ship, it was a partner, and Jake's decisions made it unstoppable. "Jake, focus on the central ship," Lyra instructed. "It is the command vessel. If we neutralize it, the rest will falter." Jake nodded. He moved the cruiser in a sweeping arc, positioning it to face the largest ship directly. Hidden energy arrays extended from the hull, focusing power into concentrated beams. He fired, striking the command vessel's shields. The attack caused sparks and energy bursts, and Jake realized the enemy was strong, but not prepared for the power of the Aurora's shadow. The smaller ships attacked from the sides, attempting to flank him. Jake maneuvered with incredible precision, using the ship's speed and Lyra's guidance to outsmart them. He activated defensive countermeasures that disabled several enemy engines, sending ships spinning helplessly in space. Every decision he made required thought, skill, and courage. He felt the adrenaline pumping, yet his mind remained sharp. Lyra's voice guided him through each maneuver. "Now, Jake, use the hidden pulse array. Focus it on the command ship's shield generators. Timing is crucial." Jake adjusted the controls and fired the pulse array. A wave of energy spread out, hitting the command vessel and disrupting its shields. The smaller ships hesitated, confused by the sudden power. Jake seized the moment. He directed the cruiser to strike again, concentrating energy beams on the command ship until it lost power and drifted helplessly. The rest of the fleet scattered, some retreating, others surrendering. Jake exhaled, his heart still racing. The Aurora's shadow hummed around him, alive and responsive. He realized the magnitude of what they had achieved, not just a victory, but proof that humans could face impossible odds and prevail. Lyra's voice was soft but filled with admiration. "Well done, Jake. Humans are underestimated, but today you have shown what you are capable of. Courage, intelligence, and determination, these are the strengths of your kind." Jake smiled. "We did it together, Lyra. I couldn't have done it without you." "You guided the ship," Lyra replied. "I assisted, but it is your mind, your decisions, that made the difference. Humans have something rare in the galaxy. That is why you are the guardian of this ship." In the following days, Jake and Lyra repaired and upgraded the ship. The encounter with the Armada had revealed weaknesses, and they worked together to strengthen the cruiser's systems. Jake learned to manipulate energy arrays more efficiently, to anticipate attacks, and to use the ship's power for both defense and offense. As they traveled farther into uncharted space, they discovered remnants of other civilizations, ancient ruins, and hidden technologies. Each discovery reminded Jake of humanity's potential. Humans had imagination, creativity, and the courage to explore the unknown. He realized that with the Aurora's shadow, humans could reach farther than anyone had thought possible. One day, While exploring a derelict station, Jake and Lyra found records of a species that had once ruled this part of the galaxy. Their technology was advanced, but they had underestimated other species. Jake studied the logs and realized that the mistakes of the past could guide humanity's future. Knowledge, combined with courage, could prevent mistakes and protect others. Lyra spoke in his mind as he read the logs. Jake, humans can do what others have not. You have proven it. You have the mind to learn and the heart to protect. That is rare. That is why you were chosen. Jake felt a swell of pride. It's not just me, he said. Humans have potential. We can rise to challenges and protect what is important. That's what we're showing the galaxy. Their travels continued, and word of the Aurora's shadow began to spread. Rumors of the mysterious ship and its human pilot reached other civilizations. Some were curious, others cautious, and a few considered it a threat. Jake realized that they were becoming a symbol, not just of human ingenuity, but of what humans could achieve when they combined courage, intelligence, and morality. One evening, as they rested in the bridge, Lyra spoke softly. Jake, the galaxy is vast. There will be more threats, more challenges, but remember this, humans are underestimated, but that is their strength. They are adaptable, creative, and brave. You are a symbol of that strength. Jake looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of her words. He understood that their journey was far from over, but he also knew that humans were capable of extraordinary things. With courage, intelligence, and determination, they could face any challenge. A new signal appeared on the sensors, a distress call from a nearby colony. Lyra's eyes widened as she read the energy patterns. Jake, they need help. A fleet is attacking the colony. We can reach them in time. Jake's heart raced. This was their chance to prove that humans could protect more than themselves. He guided the cruiser at maximum speed, Lyra assisting in navigation and systems management. The stars blurred past as the Aurora's shadow moved faster than any human ship should. As they approached, Jake saw the attacking ships firing on the colony's defenses. Civilians were in danger, and their ships were no match for the invaders. Jake felt a surge of determination. Lyra, let's show them what humans can do. The Aurora's shadow moved into position, its shields glowing brightly. Jake activated the defensive arrays, creating barriers to protect the colony. Energy beams fired from hidden arrays, disabling enemy ships and forcing them to retreat. The colonists watched in awe as the mysterious cruiser defended them with precision and power. Lyra spoke in his mind, admiration in her voice. Jake, you are showing the galaxy what humans can do. Courage, intelligence, and determination, these are the marks of your kind. You are protecting others not for power, but because it is right. That is human strength. Jake smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He realized that humans were capable of more than exploration or adventure. They could protect, defend, and inspire. The Aurora's shadow was more than a ship. It was a symbol of human potential. After the battle, the colony's leaders thanked Jake. They asked about the ship and its pilot, but Jake simply smiled. Humans are capable, he said. We will rise to challenges and we will protect what is important. Lyra watched him, a quiet pride in her presence. You have learned well, Jake. Humans are underestimated, but you are showing their true strength. Together, we will continue to explore, protect, and inspire. Days turned into weeks, and Jake and Lyra continued their travels. They explored new star systems, discovered hidden civilizations, and helped those in need. Each adventure reinforced the truth. Humans were resourceful, brave, and capable of extraordinary things. One night, as they rested on the bridge, Jake looked out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, full of danger, mystery, and opportunity. He knew that challenges would come, but he also knew that humans could meet them. They had courage, intelligence, and heart, the qualities that allowed them to rise above any threat. Lyra spoke softly, her voice filled with warmth. Jake, you have shown the galaxy the power of humans, not just their technology, not just their ships, but their courage, their creativity, and their determination. That is why you were chosen. That is why the Aurora's shadow trusts you, Jake smiled. It's not just me, Lyra. Humans are capable of greatness. We can rise to challenges and protect what matters. That's who we are. The ship hummed around them, alive and aware, as if agreeing. Together, they had faced danger, discovered secrets, and proven that humans were more than others believed. The galaxy had taken notice, and the Aurora's shadow had become a symbol of hope, courage, and human ingenuity. Jake leaned back in the captain's chair, feeling the hum of the ship beneath him. He had found adventure, yes, but more importantly, he had found purpose. He was the guardian of something extraordinary, and through him, the galaxy had seen the true power of humanity. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, Jake knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges came next, humans would rise to meet them. Courage, intelligence, and heart, these were their greatest weapons. And together, with Lyra and the Aurora's shadow, they would show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of.